What is up, guys? Happy Tuesday. You'll notice that this is not the best overall show. David Koska could not make it today, so I decided just to do some solo stream, hang out with you guys, do a little painting, give you guys some updates on what's going on with me, what's going on with the channel, kind of where things are going, good and bad. Got some good news, some bad news. Richard, how's it going? I'm just making some notes right now because there's just a lot I want to talk about today. It helps me a lot usually when I'm just, it's one thing. It's kind of weird when you're doing like solo streaming if you guys have done it, but like going through all your thoughts, I find it often helpful to kind of write things down. Events. So I guess I've been away. I was away last week. I was having a pretty rough week. I know some of you guys have asked, Kimbobo, Brian, Richard, thanks for joining the stream, guys. I know there's some questions about how I'm doing, how's it going, and well, there's some things that have been going on in my life personally that have not been great, but and I'm going to share those with you guys. But I want to. Well, first let's talk about what I'm painting today, because I'm going to be just kind of brainlessly painting while we talk and while we chat and when we hang out. So I'm working on, my friend Dan Miner, this is, he's our resident TO guy that does like a lot of events for us. He actually has a website called Miner Creations. It's spelled M-I-N-E-R Creations. You search it, and he does a MDF terrain set called the Bookshelf series, and I really like this series because and I've talked about it on the stream before. I think I was painting it last time we were doing a stream, but basically it's a small all-in-one train set, and I just want to kind of go through it because I've actually been working on it for an event this weekend that I'm going to be going to later, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a bit. But I just want to show you guys the actual set, because I have a set of it here, and I've kind of shown bits and pieces, but I actually want to show you guys how kind of like compact this is. So this is basically the set. Let's see here if you guys can see it. So this whole thing, now keep in mind I've made some modifications to this set, and I'm going to show you guys what modifications I've made to make it a little bit cooler, but the basic set basically fits inside these boxes. So there's like this set of terrain, and then there's it all kind of fits inside this box. So normally there's not stuff sticking out here, but because of the modifications I made, which I'm going to show you guys in a sec, it's sticking out. But I'm going to show you guys some of the changes I made, just because I wanted to take the set, make it my own, and then also paint it, obviously. So the first thing is, I'll just kind of take you guys through all the components first. So it comes with basically 2 sets of these little barricades, and the whole thing has to be assembled. So I just primed these black today, so we're going to be painting those today. So it comes with 2 sets of these little barricades. It comes with 2 sets of these walls, which are not in there. And what I've done with the walls is I've actually glued them to a flat piece. So normally the walls don't have this kind of flat piece in the bottom, but I glued them to this flat piece so that they're a bit more stable. And the actual normal set comes with these panels are actually acrylic, and they're like a see-through acrylic, green acrylic. So they're a little bit nicer. I actually wanted an extra set, so I got a second set of them. And I said, hey, if I forgo the acrylic because it's more expensive, can you throw in an extra set of these for me? And he said he would. So I wanted an extra set of these kind of barriers, these kind of walls. So there's 2 sets of these. There is 2 craters, wooden crater sets, which are hard to see because what I've done is I've glued them down to some MDF, and I've actually flocked and then base them using the same method I do for my bases. So I wanted the craters to not just be like little wooden cutouts, but I took the kind of wooden craters and I basically glued them onto these bases, and I painted them, and we're going to paint those on stream today as well, hopefully if we have time. Then there are these 2 forest platforms inside as well, and with these come these 8 little plugs. So tomorrow I'm actually going to go and get some trees from a local hobby store to glue onto these. Now this doesn't obviously come with trees, but these are just supposed to be tree bases, and these things kind of slot right in. And you can have like your 2 tree bases as well. Then we have these 2 big crate Thingamajiggers. So these are 2 basically barrel stacks like this. So you can have 2 of those, 1 on each side. And again, everything comes in 2, so you can basically actually, if you want to do the FLG train setup where there's equal amounts of train on each table and each half, it's really easy because it's super symmetrical, and then there's 2 of everything. So there's 2 of these guys, which are just basically creator dudes. So we can put those aside. And again, all of this normally fits inside this little box, and you can fit 2 of these into a banker box, and then this whole thing basically can fit on your bookshelf. So I actually stick it on my bookshelf. And then there's 6 pieces of runes. So I'll show you guys the runes, how they work. Now these are the only pieces I finished painting so far, and I'm going to talk you guys through kind of what I did. So there's 2 of these larger runes like this. So these are some large kind of L-shaped runes, and you see I've painted them, and you'll notice that there's texture on these. So what I actually did was I went in with some textured spray paint, textured them, and then I painted them. So this actually adds a little bit of texture to the wood. It's not just like this kind of flat wood. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it actually does look really good up close. I did a very quick job, guys, on these. It's just like a dry brush. Basically what it is, I did an airbrush in brown, an oil wash, which is what we're gonna do today, and then I just did a little dry brush, like a super simple dry brush. I could go in and put more detail, but I'm actually trying to get this whole set done for this weekend, and I'll tell you guys why, because I'm taking it to an event. So I didn't bother, but there's obviously a second half here. You can see they kind of fit together like a puzzle, like that. All right, so there's 2 halves. And then these train pieces actually have floors that slot in. Now these floors I haven't painted yet, but basically they go like this. And then basically the whole thing kind of breaks apart. And then you can take these floor pieces, and they basically slot in, well, when I think just like that. So you get one there, and there's a rooftop piece as well that slots in like there. So we're going to paint those today, so you can see how that kind of slots in, and then they just kind of pop out to disassemble. So it's really easy to assemble and disassemble, and that's on both sides. Okay, so put that away. And then we have 4 of these smaller ruins, right? So these are 4 small shaped L ruins, and these also have little floors that slot in like this. Just like that, so you can put models on top. So you can see I've painted those. Now I have 2 of these, and on one of them I actually just kept normal, and I just did this with a gray dry brush. You can see how I did an oil wash here. Oil wash, guys, it makes things look so good so easily. Like, look how, and I also did that textured spray, so you can see there's a nice texture on there, and then the oil wash and then the dry brush does a lot of the work, right? So it just gives it a nice kind of old looking feel. Very, very quick to do. And these ones have open windows. And then on this one, basically I just went to Starbucks and I stole like 6,000 of their coffee stir sticks, and I used those coffee stir sticks to board up the windows so that these are actually fully truly blocking line of sight. And then I just did this basically same thing, sprayed it with the textured spray paint, went on with my airbrush, and then oil wash, and then just basically a big dry brush. So those are kind of the pieces. And when you have all of this terrain on a table, it's actually like fairly substantial amount of terrain, like a perfect amount of terrain. And the whole set basically fits, kind of like those Russian dolls, in a piece of on a piece of wood that's no bigger than this. This is the base, and they all fit on this. And then there's and then obviously there's a lid as well. So if you guys are interested, check it out, Minor Creations. I don't know if he's selling them internationally or what. For me, someone that has very little space at home, it's really important that my terrain is basically as small as possible. So it's a really neat set for me. But obviously, you know, if you have lots of space and you want to do something more substantial, I guess, that's cool too. I definitely feel like you can do something a bit fancier, but for me, it actually does serve my purposes perfectly. So I'm gonna basically just be working on this train today, giving you guys some updates, chatting to you guys. Let me see. I'll see if I can do it. I think it's let me see if I can toss a link to it. Now Dan might not even like me that I'm plugging it, because I don't know how many of these sets that he actually makes, or if like he's actually selling them. And it is a little bit like, I personally think, and sorry to tell this to Dan, I think it's a little high price for just MDF terrain, because you can get some decent 3D printed terrain for about the same price. But you know, for what it is, you know, it's not bad. So I just threw the link up in chat there, I believe. Yeah, so it's a 275. You get the acrylic pieces, and then obviously you get all of the different stuff. So yeah, and keep in mind, guys, that's Canadian dollars. So if you're in the US, that's probably closer to like 200 bucks Canadian. So again, not super cheap, but it's definitely like a good terrain set, and it obviously you can see in the third photo there, how it kind of packs up really nicely. And again, if you're a TO and you need to store a lot of terrain, or you need lots of terrain worth of tables, it's a pretty good little deal. So yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily do it. Anyway, so that's kind of like one minor plug for Dan. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at me, because he's gonna end up like getting like 30 orders or whatever. But let's see what's going on here. All right, so I'm gonna kind of just be working on these floors, and then yeah. So basically, the tournament I'm going to this weekend, it's a local tournament called Kipper's Melee, and it's probably gonna be the last tournament of my year, to be honest. I'll tell you guys a little bit about why. Obviously, there's some things that you guys already know, some things that you guys don't know, but yeah, I was originally hesitant to go. I wasn't sure if I was really feeling it. I managed to actually get a decent flight. So it's in Victoria, Nanaimo, BC, which is, for those of you that aren't from the West Coast, Nanaimo is basically a 35-minute drive to the ferry terminal, an hour-and-a-half ferry across the water to the island, and then like another 20-minute drive to to Nanaimo. Now that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but the ferry is expensive. It's about $100 each way with the car. And then you're also looking at 2 nights of hotel, because it's a 3-hour drive, and you can't get a ferry as early as the morning of the event. So like you basically are stuck going the night before, which means 2 nights of hotel. So you're talking about $400, plus you're talking about another $200 of travel each way. So you're talking around $600 just to go to a local 30-man event, right? That's not exactly cheap for a small GT, right? 600 bucks of travel. But I managed to, because I'm sneaky, find there's actually a service called Harbor Air that flies downtown Vancouver Harbor, which is where I live downtown Vancouver, to downtown Nanaimo Harbor, which is like a block from the venue. It's a seaplane, and it flies, managed to get tickets, $89 per direction, right? But because of the fact that it only takes, it's a 20-minute plane ride, and you literally walk on, like I take the plane sometimes to go for work when I go to meetings in Victoria. There's like, you literally walk up to the terminal, it's like on the dock, you check in, and then you get on the plane. So I live literally a 5-minute block from the downtown seaport in Vancouver, so I can walk there with my stuff. And then it lands literally 2 blocks from the venue in Nanaimo. And because of the fact that it leaves at like 8 a.m. on the Friday morning or Saturday morning, I can actually save myself a whole night of hotel by going there. And it actually ends up being the same price as the ferry, because if I wanted to go one way on the ferry, I'd have to leave Friday night. B, it would be about $70 for my car, plus another $20 for me as a passenger. So plus the gas, plus the time, right? So it's not only just the time, the gas and the cost of the ferry, but it's also like a 3 or 4 hour trip one way, right? I managed to get a $90 flight there, $90 flight back on Sunday, and it's 20 minutes. And I can literally walk to the airport, the seaplane terminal down near my house, and then walk to the venue from the other side, and then leave Sunday afternoon and be home in 30 minutes. Like I'll be literally home. I'll be home an hour after I leave, like at most. Like the flight leaves at 5:30 on the Sunday. I'll literally be home in my door by 6 p.m. Like that's how fast it is. It's a 20-minute flight. It's super quick. And I've taken it before. So that also means I only have to spend one night in the hotel. So I managed to basically cut about $200 off the trip. It's still about a $400 trip just for like a little GT, but I said I was going to go. And one of the things I said I was going to do was bring a set of terrain because the TO needed tables. And so I've been fervently painting my set, and that's what we're working on today. So that is the current project. Oh yeah, and guys, you can see this is what the texture paint looks like from the spray can once it's out. Although to be fair, this texture paint, one of the spray cans, so I went through 3 spray cans to do it all, and they're actually pretty expensive. They're like $15 for that textured spray can. I think it's like all clad. It's like a textured spray. So it's about $15 a spray can, so it's not cheap. So there might be cheaper paint on sprays. But the third can, it started to act really weird. I think it was getting clogged, and the spray pattern was like really like random like this. Normally it's actually a lot more smooth, but I think once it's painted you won't really be able to tell. So what we're gonna do start with is I'm gonna basically get these base coated in the same dark brown I used for the let me see here, my arms aren't that long. Ow. There's my headphones. Yeah, sorry. So we're gonna start with base coating things. Now, you know what's really cool about terrain? A, because you can paint it whatever color you want, and B, there's lots of it. I'm actually just using, so I'm sure you guys have a lot of paints that you guys don't use that often, or like just have. So like I'll show you guys for instance. Oh, so these are my Pro Acryls. This is like the main paints that I use for almost 90% of everything. Hold on. I also have an entire set of Army Painter paints up there. I have some Chimeras, and then I have all my Citadels, GWs, and then down here I have even more. I have like Scale 75, I have Vallejos. But this Army Painter set, that's a whole set of Army Painter paints, I actually won as a prize from winning Hobby Track, and I like literally never use them. I use the washes a little bit, but I have this full range of Army Painter paints that I just never use. The Pro Acryls are just so good. It's hard, it's really hard to pull myself away from Pro Acryls. And then obviously I use the GW stuff for certain things if I want to color match them, or just certain things I want to paint certain GW colors. But generally, if I can, I'll stick to Pro Acryls almost exclusively these days. And then I use Scale 75 for their metallics, which are the best, some of the best in the game. And I use, obviously I have some Secret Weapon stuff. Rest in peace, Secret Weapon. They've gone out of business for washes. And I have some Vallejo metal color and some other random Vallejo things thrown in there. But for the most part, I'd say 90% of my painting these days I use the Pro Acryl, and then a little bit of GW, and then Scale 75 for metallic. So this Army Painter set I've had has just been basically collecting dust. And so I thought, well, what better use of it is just dump all that paint into my terrain. So I'm going to be basically doing all this terrain in Army Painter stuff, just to use up as much as I can. And if you guys have big projects like that, I would highly recommend like basically just finding a use for it, I guess. Hopefully I have enough of this color because I used quite a bit already. Doesn't look like it. So I've already emptied a whole bottle of this Army Painter paint, painting those two buildings. So I'm just gonna get going on this, guys. I'll kind of keep you posted on what I'm gonna do as if once I switch steps. Obviously out of this oak brown. I'm sure I'll just find another paint. And then we'll get going. All right, so what's been going on with me? Well, there's a few things. So first of all, as some of you guys know, I decided to sell my Chaos Army, and I'm flying to the US next week actually to drop it off in person. So next Friday I fly out, and I'm taking, it's about 6 figure cases worth of models. So the client didn't want me to fly with to ship them, so he's paid for a plane ticket. I'm going to be flying out on Friday next week and dropping everything off in person and going through it all with the client as well. So that's exciting. I'll be in the States for about Friday to Sunday. I'm hoping there's like an event close by. I think he mentioned there might be in a GT or something close by to where he lives. So we might I'm actually just playing a GT or something that weekend, and then kind of say my final goodbyes. But that whole, and the sale has gone through. Like I've received deposit for my army, considerable sum. So there's no turning back at this point. It is happening, and it is done. And I think what happened was once I received that kind of first deposit, I guess, come on, airbrush is kind of being cloggy. When I received that first deposit for the army, it kind of like, it really took the wind out of my sails in a lot of ways. I didn't realize how much my current hobby projects kind of revolved around basically that army, I guess, and everything I was doing there. So basically last week after that, I just was in a very like kind of melancholy mood, I guess, when it comes to like my hobby. I didn't really feel like streaming, didn't feel like painting, didn't feel like doing anything hobby related. Just kind of felt very pointless. Kind of like I guess I was in mourning a little bit. You know, the I guess I don't even know how to put it, but like the excitement from the Las Vegas team tournament had worn off quite a bit. I wasn't feeling as inspired. So yeah, I just basically came home. I just wasn't feeling hobby, right? It really was kind of like a hard thing for me to kind of come to grips with, that I had sold my very precious Chaos Army. So last week I wasn't feeling great. On top of that, I've had a really good friend of mine got in a car accident last Sunday. She's gonna be okay, but she's in the hospital. She's someone that I care about very deeply, and I'd spent literally three days in a row with her on like the previous week. So like I spent like Thursday with her, Friday with her, Saturday with her. Talked to her on Sunday, and then I found out on Monday that she'd gotten in a really bad accident and she's in the hospital. She had gotten she was on her bike. They're still not really sure what happened because she doesn't remember any of it, but she had surgery on Friday. Her dad flew in from Ontario, and is now kind of taking care of her. That got me in a really kind of I was in a pretty bad place from that too, because I just cared so much about her. And I literally had just seen her, and then next thing I know, like, you know, she's basically in the hospital, and she's gonna be okay. Like, I think she's out of the surgery, and she's recovering with her parents. But you know, it was really like it was just like a really hard bit of news, because I'd just been talking about her, like, and I'd spent so much time with her for like 3 days in a row, and then obviously like it really, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation like that where, like, you know, I've lost people in my life, but I've definitely never been in a situation where I was spent all this time with someone, and then, like, you know, like next thing you know, like they're hurt, and you know, like yeah, I just took it really hard last week. On top of that, my job's been some of you guys have known this, and I've talked about it at length, but I've been having a really rough go in my career. So for those of you that don't know, I'm a professional, quote unquote professional chef. Well, I'm not really a chef, although I am a chef by trade. I actually run a series of restaurants, sorry, I'm just trying to collect my words here, but so I run a series of restaurants. I do culinary business development, or I did anyways. And the last year and a half has obviously been very difficult for restaurants, including ours. And a lot of my job has not necessarily gone away, but as our company's grown, and this is maybe something that if any of you guys have been in a growing organization can relate to, but as our company's grown, my job has changed a lot. And it's changed not just in position, my position's kind of changed and kind of moved around a lot, but also like my responsibilities and my roles have changed a lot. I used to have a very specific set of things that I did. Obviously, as we grew, a lot of that stuff got kind of outsourced to other roles. And then with the pandemic, the main thing that I became responsible for, which was business growth, and new openings and new restaurants and all that stuff, well, it kind of went away because no one was opening anything, right? Like, we were in a pandemic. So all of our growth plans basically got put on hold. And then everything I was excited for in my job went away. And, you know, the last year, you know, look, and I count myself very lucky. I didn't miss a paycheck. I haven't missed a paycheck since COVID. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, Jim, like, you're very lucky that you even have a job. And you guys are right. I have a great job. but I've been very unhappy with work. And I was on a separate project. They pulled me on a separate project for most of the summer, which I really didn't enjoy. And I kind of wrapped up that project about 2 weeks ago. And there was an incident at work kind of near the end of the project where, you know, I had basically a conflict with someone that I worked with, and it basically led to me making an HR complaint against them. And that HR complaint kind of came back and bit me in the ass because basically I was retaliated against. And just kind of as a result of that, it just left me in a very kind of like, I guess, frustrated place with work, where I don't even know what my future is anymore, and I don't know what's happening with my job. So as a result of that incident, I'm on 2 months of paid leave right now. So I won't get into details, but suffice to say, I feel like I've been wronged in some sense, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm on 2 months of paid leave now, so I don't go back to work to my real job till December 7th, which sounds great, right? Everyone's like, hey, Jim, like, fuck, you got 2 months off. That's awesome. But the circumstances by which it happened were not great. And I think like, in the end, even though like time off is great, in this specific case, it feels more like punishment, even though it was not sold as that. So I'm not really sure where that leaves me with my job. So all of these factors kind of last week kind of came to a head, and I just, and obviously with my 40K, I'm in a very like weird place right now. Like I don't have an army. I don't have any motivation to paint chaos, right? I'm not going to paint any chaos. I have some commission work that I'm going to be working on the next little while, including an orc commission that I've been had since the summer, but it was second in my queue. So I'll be working on an orc commission. So it's just fun. I'm excited to paint some orcs. I haven't done that. I'm going to be wrapping up, and so I'm still working on that Dark Angels commission. It's just a big project, guys, and the client kept changing their mind, and so things have come and gone. Like, I literally, the commission was originally supposed to be like and I'll just be straightforward with you. It was like a $7,000 commission, and it grew to like an $11,000 commission over the course of like 3 months. So as I was starting to and this was, you got to remember, I started this commission when things were basically really hard to get. So a lot of the time what happened is I would get some of the models and I would, you know, do a little bit of the work, but I'm like, I don't want to get too far into this because I want to do a lot of this mass produced, wait till I have everything. And then not only would the client add things, but then things would be unavailable. So just like things were getting pushed around, and I've made progress on it, but it's not as far as I'd like to be. I would have hoped to have finished it by the end of October, but that's probably not going to happen. So that's what I'm going to be working on the next little while. And the client also that bought my Chaos Army, I sent him a list of everything that I have owned. So I sent him a big inventory. It was massive. And there was basically 2 things that were unpainted, which is 5 Rubric Marines and my Mutilate's Vortex Beast, which I'm probably going to finish painting to get to the client, but they're not going to be done in time. Although maybe they will be done in time next week. I'll see. Since I have nothing to do in the day, I think I could probably finish it all before the end of before I leave next week if I just crush it during painting during the day. I mean, it's not that difficult. Mutilates shouldn't take that long. It's just airbrush and stuff like that. So all of these factors combined, it's just left me in a place where I feel very, very lost. The competitive 40K has lost a lot of interest for me, especially with the way that the meta is going right now. The release schedule is just too slow. There's nothing that I'm excited about. Obviously, Thousand Suns is no longer my army. David, my co-host on Best Overall, has been busy. There hasn't been a lot to talk about on politics and plastics, so I haven't really done much there. And competitive corner is probably gonna, last a little bit longer, but I don't know how much longer I'm gonna keep that show going either. Just because, from my perspective, I kind of just want to take a step back and really think about what are the kinds of things that I want to do on the channel, what are the things that I'm excited about, and ultimately, I want to kind of focus in on 1 or 2 really strong things rather than trying to do so many different things. And I want to focus on things that I'm excited about and content that I'm excited to create. So, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not quitting streaming. I'm not quitting Warhammer or anything like that. But obviously, I just need to kind of step back a little bit and reassess what it is what are the things that I want to be doing with my hobby energy and hobby time. Because it isn't something that I want to do because I'm forced to, and I never want to feel like this is a job for me. It's something that I do for fun, and I obviously really enjoy hanging out with you guys in the community and chatting with everyone. But obviously it has to feel like, it can't feel like work, you know? It's got to feel like something that I really want to do. And right now I'm just bummed out. I've just been bummed out lately, and between work and real life and my Warhammer stuff, everything's kind of felt, I've just been a little bit lost. Also, I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2 Resurrected, so I had mentioned that I was going to pick that up. So it's kind of weird. I have such a weird, if anyone else is has Diablo 2 Resurrected, shoot me a DM. You can add me, let's play some games together. I need some people to rush me through. I can rush you guys through some difficulties, and you guys can rush me through some difficulties, play some games together. But I play on American servers, but it's been fun. It's weird though, like I haven't played, I spent so much time playing Diablo 2 when I was younger, and you know, I've got a level 85 Necromancer at this point who's like decently geared for everything's kind of self-found. I haven't done much trading or like a ton of magic finding or anything like that, but it's funny because I'm like, what now? Like, what do I do? And it just reminded me of like once you get to kind of level up your character and get some decent gear, it just becomes this kind of like never-ending treadmill. So it's like you're playing on this you're on this like never-ending treadmill of like gear. And like today I was like magic finding for like 2 hours, doing like Pindle runs and like meth runs, right? And at the end of it, I was like, cool, like what was the point of all that, right? Like I'm playing by myself to get gear so I can do the same thing over and over faster. So like part of me is like, why am I even like, do I enjoy this anymore? Is this fun? Like it's just like a weird addiction for me. So I got to figure that out too, is like, do I want to spend more time on it just so that in like a month I can abandon it, or is it something I'm going to continue doing? Yeah, let me know, Chris. So add me on Battle.net. I'll actually put my Battle.net ID in the chat for you guys. Where are we? What's my Battle.net ID? Let's see here. Battle.net. So my Battle.net ID is... This is my Battle.net ID. You guys can add me on Battle.net, add me as a friend, and yeah, message me if you guys want to play some Diablo 3. I think maybe that's what I'm missing. I've just been playing solo. Sorry, Diablo 2. Sorry, not Diablo 3. Fuck Diablo 3. Although I like Diablo 3. I spent a fuck ton of time on Diablo 3, but it's just it's too much of a loot pinata. Like there's just way too much happening. And D2 I feel like is a much better game. D3 is much more like an arcade game. And there's just way too much loot. It's just like rains from the sky, loot. And it's kind of, the drop rates are just totally insane there. But I'm enjoying playing D2, especially like the Necromancer, which was my very first class when I started playing Diablo 2. So yeah, so that's been going on. But let me know, guys, in the chat what you guys are working on. Yeah, I'll think a little bit about. I'm gonna kind of get some more painting done here. So that's kind of what I've been working on, and that's kind of some life updates. I don't have much story time for you guys. I went to a fucking house party on Saturday or Friday night. Man, I was basically like 2 blocks from the it was 2 blocks from the UBC campus, which is the university here. And although the people that were throwing it were not in college, like it felt like a fucking college party, and the house was just absolutely trashed. And I just kept thinking while I was there, I was like, why would you ever have a party like this at your house? Like, it just was like totally, it seemed like totally mental to me that people still do house parties. But other than that, I mean, I have a game. So yeah, so I'm going to Kipper's Melee this weekend. As I said, I literally like didn't submit my list on time. I'm kind of like begrudgingly going. I'm playing my Thousand Suns. I don't even know if my list is good. Honestly, I don't think I have it in it for me to win it. But I'm gonna do my best and see how far I can go. And then yeah, like my army goes away next weekend. I was like sad. Like I said, I get to say goodbye to all my chaos. You know, so that'll be exciting to say goodbye. I'm gonna be I was originally gonna be playing in our second season of our 40k league, but I decided at the last minute to not play. I'm just gonna admin our division because I don't really have an army. Like, I have my Soul Drinkers still that I could be playing, but I just like the models that are painted for it are from like old meta, like Iron Hands meta and like Raven Guard meta. So I haven't really painted much new stuff for it, which means that the models that I own are like all bad, and like I just my heart's just not into it. Playing Marines right now. I'm not excited about that. It's not something that I'm like interested in doing. I might even sell my Soul Drinkers. I don't know. Like, I might do like a full clear out at this point, guys, and just be completely clean of all armies and models and just do like a fresh start. There's something about that that's really appealing to me. It also gives me a really good place to kind of restart from. I do have some Eldar models I want to start painting, so I have a few old Metal Farseers and Warlocks that I think I wanna paint just for fun, single models. I think that's kind of what I want to focus on once I'm done these commissions. But my main goal for the next little while is to finish the commissions that I've been working on and get that done. So guys, what I have here is some oil paint, and this is basically mineral spirits. It's some burnt umber, and so it's burnt umber and ivory black oil paints, and some mineral spirits. And when I'm doing really large projects with this, like this, especially with lots of texture, oil paints are really nice for that. They do take a little bit longer to dry, but honestly, it's a lot cheaper than large amounts of wash. And I really like the effect, especially on terrain and stuff. It kind of really gives it a good grimy look. So I made this batch last night, and I didn't finish it all. So basically, just all I did is I have it in these little cups, because obviously you don't want to mix this on a normal. You can't obviously use a normal palette. I just kept it overnight. So now I'm basically going back to it, and that's the nice thing about oil paints is they kind of last forever. No, I don't even know if I'll go Eldar. I just want to paint some Eldar. I think it'd be fun to just paint a few single models. Just for fun, you know? And then the oil paints really add like a cool texture. You can see kind of through the acrylics, they have this kind of residue. So I do like that as well. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with my hobby. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I think my other thought is Custodes. Kind of wait to see what the new book is. But realistically, guys, I think in my heart of hearts, I'm probably going to hang up the dice for now. Like, I think my plan is basically, because this ITC season is basically a wash anyways, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is basically, once I've got my chaos is gone and my commissions are done, I think I'm just going to basically work on some fun projects, painting projects, hobby projects, see what the new year brings. I know obviously we've been hearing rumors about the Eldar, rumors about chaos, that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. Maybe I restart chaos. You know, if we get our world leaders, maybe I do a world leaders army, and that becomes like the new genesis of my new chaos. You know, I'll still play chaos, always be a chaos player. It's where my heart is. Maybe I'll start repainting. I'd love to redo some demons. So I know I still never painted a Keeper Secrets or like a Bloodthirster. So maybe I'll start to kind of put together some demon models. I'll probably paint another Bellicor at some point. Probably paint another Magnus at some point. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with everything. I don't really know, I guess from there, where I want to go. But basically, I just want to keep my options open, not commit to anything. I might just do some more commission work. Obviously, also, I just don't know what's going on with my job either, guys. Like, I'm off till December 7th. When I come back, will I have a job? Will I not? Should I switch into commission painting full-time? I don't know if that's for me. It's already a, you know, tedious job, I find, for the most part. Not something I love doing. I do it kind of for fun, and But we'll see, I guess. Sky's the limit, right? Like, that's kind of the cool thing about having nothing on my plate, is I can do whatever I want. I'm just making a little bit more of this wash, guys, because I gotta do the other side, and this side's not as dark as I would like. Oh, it's too much black. So yeah, so lots of uncertainty, guys. Lots of changes coming, both personal and professional, and hobby-wise, I guess, the next little while. It's an exciting time. Obviously, it's a little bit scary because I don't know, like, it's so weird. I think if you'd asked me a month ago what my plans were, I would have been so like invested in chaos. So like, it's just like everything changed so quickly, you know? Yeah, that's better. Everything's changed so quickly, as far as like my hobby goals and my focus and everything like that. And it's like, I feel like it's, my whole world's kind of been shook, you know? And yeah, I don't want to open a ghost kitchen. That sounds awful. Food and hospitality have just been not kind to me the last little while. It's really made me rethink my career. Obviously, this whole incident at work and stuff, and you know, what I want to be doing, where I want to be spending my time. Really makes you reflect a lot. I've had offers to open restaurants and stuff, but you know, I've done it already. I've opened 6 restaurants in 5 years. It's not an easy job. Not an easy job to open it, not a job to stay open, you know? It's not something I'm exactly dying to do. So yeah, just a really tough time, I guess, guys. Like, it's been a very interesting time in my life. A lot of transition. Also, like, obviously I sold my army, so I have this cash, and that's got me thinking, like, you know, do I want to go traveling? Do I want to, you know, I talked to my real estate agent actually last week to kind of see what I still need to kind of get to that place where I could like maybe buy a place. And you know, I'm still I thought I'd be a lot closer than I am, but given the housing market in Vancouver, I'm probably at least another 6 to 8 months away from something like that. So assuming that I keep my job, which, you know, that's also up in the air. So there's just like a lot of uncertainty as far as, but obviously I do have, you know, a nice little nest egg now. And I want to figure out, you know, what do I want to do? Do I want to travel? Do I want to, I don't know, invest in something? Do I want to do something like that's like more profound? It's really hard to say, you know? Open a ghost kitchen, yeah. I don't know, pal. You guys are wondering how you clean oils. You use the actually same mineral spirits in the paints and use that to clean your brush. So I'm using odorless mineral spirits. They say they're odorless, it's not completely odorless, but it's odorless enough that like it's not gonna make me feel sick. You don't want to be using like turpentine or anything like that. That's gonna have a very strong odor, especially inside. So I'm gonna let these little guys dry for a bit, and then we're gonna do the other side. So let's just see here. I'm just gonna stack them up like this against my. Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. Okay, so stack this up just like that to dry. Get out of my way. Maybe I'll work on these little craters while I'm waiting. So I'm gonna just do some black paint. I have some. It's funny with these. I actually got. I got this. Spray can of black paint that wasn't sorry, so normally when I get primer I get like a Krylon, I think it's Krylon black matte flat primer, but this stuff I got was like a Rust-Oleum and it was like an oil-based primer. So I got it by accident, and I'm not using it for models because it's oil based, but I've been using it for terrain like this. But it's weird because like even though I primed this like 4 hours ago, it still kind of feels wet to the touch, just because of the nature of the primer. So what I'm doing now is I just have a little bit of paint on primer here and some water, and basically I'm gonna there's like I don't know if you can see, but there's like little spots of white where the primer didn't quite stick, so I'm just going in with this like black paint on and kind of grabbing it, flooding those areas with a bit of primer. I think what happened too is I was spray painting these outside, and it was raining a little bit, so there's a few spots where there's like water droplets hit. I think that's where it's kind of like the paint didn't quite stick. So yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of like my life updates, guys. Like, so it's been going on, just been kind of down lately, not really feeling streaming, not really feeling hobby. You know, I wouldn't say it's burnout because I haven't really been doing a lot with the hobby, right? Like, I feel like, you know, I understand what burnout is, but burnout usually applies when you're doing too much, and like I haven't felt like I was doing too much, or like I was tired of it. It just felt like unmotivated, I guess. And it's funny looking back now when I started streaming, like how motivated I was and how like excited I was to do it. And you know, one of the big things about streaming is like consistency with how when you go live, that kind of stuff. So that's something I haven't been good at. There's been a lot of canceled streams or streams where I just didn't do them, but I said I would, and that never feels good. Never feels good to like say I'm going to be streaming and then not end up streaming because I decide, you know, I'm too tired or I don't want to, and then not communicating that to the audience and the community. So it's something that I really need to think about, because I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep being in a place where I say I'm going to stream and do hobby stuff and then I don't, or I get busy, or something better comes up that I'm more interested in and I decide to do that instead of streaming, and then, you know, I keep letting the community down. I think if I want to stream, I need to really like commit to, you know, maybe it's only 2 days a week I stream, right? Instead of like 3 or 4. But then those 2 days a week, it's like consistent and it's every week, and it's like, you know, I'm very like strict about it. I feel like that's like a much better schedule than me trying to kind of do all these different shows and all this other stuff. I'm just by myself. I don't make money from it. In fact, it costs money with between like hosting fees on Restream, between hosting fees on my website, between the podcast hosting, all that kind of stuff. It's not, and then like things like Epidemic Sounds, which is like royalty-free sound that I pay for. So there's just like a lot of like small costs that I eat every month, and you know, I don't get anything out of it besides just interacting with you guys, and that's fine. Like, that's all I ever wanted. But it definitely doesn't make it like it doesn't make it financially I'm not financially incentivized to continue streaming. It's only because I'm doing things like because I'm having fun. That's my main incentive. And so if I'm not having fun, the incentive's not there, and it's like I definitely don't want to do it, right? So but yeah, so that's kind of I think that's probably all I'm gonna stream for tonight, guys. Just about an hour. This stuff needs to dry for the next little while, so I can't really do much right now, but thanks for tuning in and checking in. I will be back tomorrow to do some more hobby streaming. I'm gonna be doing some more terrain, maybe paint some models, hopefully finish up all the set. If you guys are interested in like seeing like game streaming, like Diablo, like I've been playing Diablo 2 out of the Yin Yang or other games, like let me know. Obviously I'm not a gamer, but it'd be weird for me to do game streaming, but you know, if that's something that you guys think would be fun or cool to hang out and play Diablo 2, let me know, or other games. I'm not pivoting to be a game streamer, a Twitch streamer, but since I'm doing it anyways, I figure it's always fun to hang out with the community a little bit, and kind of, you guys can check out what I'm doing as well. So with that said, guys, have a great night, and I'll chat with you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. or I might go stream a little bit early. I have no job now, so I did get Diablo 2. Yeah, it's been fun. I don't really have a job now, so I might actually go live at 5 o'clock tomorrow. We'll see. But have a great evening, and I'll talk to you guys later.